Right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to Women's Football Chat Live. Tonight we're back for yet more Women's Champions League action in matchday 1 of the 25-26 UWCL. We got underway yesterday with some very exciting games, including a very tight affair between Arsenal and OL Lyonnais, a drubbing of Bayern by Barcelona, and a very good game between Benfica and Juventus settled in the final 5 minutes. So yet more action to come this evening, and we kick off tonight's schedule with FC Twente taking on Chelsea. Harry, coming into this season, a lot of expectation on Chelsea. They've got a really nice run to start the competition. How important is it that they establish themselves early on as a team to be reckoned with?
It's absolutely massive. We know with the league phase from the men's game, and we spoke about it last night with Arsenal losing to OL Lyonnais, that the form and the momentum in this stage of the tournament is absolutely crucial. If you can get out in front and win your first 3 games, put 9 points on the board, and you're sitting in that top 4, that's much easier. That's a lot less pressure than if you end up in a scenario where if you lose your first couple games or you drop points against weaker opposition, then you can land yourselves in a spot of bother and you can put pressure on yourself, because then you have to go out and win those games against the better, more difficult side. So it's very important for Chelsea to hit the ground running, get points on the board, and make sure they're sitting in that top 4 out of these first couple of fixtures. But it's going to be difficult tonight, travelling away from home to a Twente side who have looked really, really sharp. They've started their season brilliantly, 4 wins from 4. They've been smashing oppositions, and they've looked really, really good this season. So it's going to be tough for Chelsea tonight. They're going to have to work for it. Twente are a good side, but we know the quality that the English champions possess, and realistically they should be winning this football match. But it won't be without a fight coming from FC Twente, because they've got some very, very good players who could hurt Chelsea if they're not careful this evening.
Indeed, and these two sides having recent history. They met in the group stages of this competition last season. In those 2 matches, Chelsea won 2-1 and 6-1 respectively. So that should give them confidence coming into today. Twente, though, quite a different side. A lot of players have departed over the summer, but as you say, still looking strong. Let's get into the lineups then, and we'll start with the hosts, Twente. In goal, it's Leme, a back 4 of Vilek, Carla, Nol and Tuin. In the midfield 3, it's Groenewegen, Jill Roord and Captain Van Ginkel. And a front line then of Urde Elberink, Ravensbergen and Proust. So obviously the most recognisable name there, Harry, is that of Jill Roord. Big move from her going up from City to Twente. Does that speak a lot about the project that Twente are building there?
Yeah, exactly that. I think that it's a great midfield composition, but Jill Roord especially was a brilliant pickup. They managed to take advantage of the fact that she wasn't comfortable in England and wanted to return to her home nation, and what a signing it is. And she could be the difference maker in these kind of games, because she's a player that we all know has the ability to play for the best sides in the world. So it's a massive boost for Twente having Roord in that midfield alongside Van Ginkel. They're the 2 players that are really going to be key for Twente today. If they can get them on the ball and just get the game moving. They've got to be good in possession, Twente. That's the biggest thing tonight, because if you give it away to Chelsea, or you're too sloppy, or you're not accurate enough, then you're just going to end up under pressure. But with the clearances, if they can pick out players like Van Ginkel, like Roord, and let them make things happen, then they could get something out of this game, FC Twente. So they've got to be sharp, get the midfield conductors involved, and try and get them to be creating chances, either for themselves or for that front 3. But the midfield battle is going to be crucial today, and that midfield 3 for Twente is going to have to be on it, and it's got some quality in there. So Chelsea have got to be careful that they don't get overran a little bit in there, because it's going to be a good fight between the 2 midfields.
Yeah, indeed. Riley, welcome to the stream. GT as well, both mentioning Jill Roord. Riley saying Roord's father works for Twente, so obviously that does have an impact on where she's chosen to go. I believe her family have roots in Twente as well, but it's great to see her returning to the club that she supported as a child, and now obviously has family ties to, and now playing for them in the women's game. And let's take a look then at the visitors, Chelsea. Bonpastor opting to go for the 4-2-3-1, similarly to the United game. In goal, it's Livia Peng's first start for the Blues since the Swiss shot stopper joined in the summer. In the back 4, Carpenter and Baltimore return to the lineup with Bright and Berman, the centre-back partnership, Millie Wright taking the captain's armband. In the midfield pivot, it's Jean-Francois alongside Siok and Nusken, who recently signed an extended contract with Chelsea. In attacking midfield, Micah Hamano flanked either side by Thompson and Guro Wrighton, and leading the line, Aggie Beaver-Jones. So a strong team for Chelsea this evening, but still a fair bit of rotation there from what has been the starting lineup in the first 3 games of the WSL campaign.
Yeah, 7 changes for Chelsea from the side that drew to Manchester United on Friday. That's how you do rotation, and that side does not look like a team that's had 7 changes. That speaks volumes of the quality and depth that Chelsea now possess. But yeah, it's a very, very good side. I think it presents opportunities for certain players tonight, starting off with Livia Peng in goal. What a chance for her to come in and Chelsea debut, and she'll be hoping that pick up where she left off at the Euros and keep a clean sheet for the first time in Chelsea blue. I think it's another great opportunity for Guro Reiten out on the left-hand side. Massive night for Guro Reiten. We've not seen Guro at anywhere near her best the last couple of years. Her minutes have got lower and lower as her form's got worse and worse. But tonight, presented with the opportunity to start on that left-hand side, and we know how good Guro Reiten can be if she turns up. And I really hope that we do see Guro Reiten firing on all cylinders tonight, because if she is, then Twente are going to have a handful on that left-hand side. But an opportunity for Reiten back in the starting 11 to try and deliver. Overall, again, across the board, it's the rest of the players have been players that we've seen feature a lot this season. Nusken's another one that people have wondered why we weren't seeing, but we knew she was injured. She comes back and now she's signing a new contract till 2027, and she's straight back in the starting 11. So no worries there whatsoever. But yeah, it's what we expected. We expect to see rotation, but we know that those players have got the quality and got the match sharpness to go out and do a professional job tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Few injury concerns. Then there's a question from HB in the live chat. Should we worry about Naomi Gurma? Still not seen her yet this season. And more injury concerns for the American, who obviously was a record transfer when Chelsea signed her back in January. We haven't seen a lot of her, but yeah, has just constantly had injury problems and then gets rushed back into action. Hopefully, Bonpastor seems to be learning with other players that easing players back in is a better way of dealing with their fitness issues.
Yeah, Chelsea are in a good position at the moment where you've got 3, for me, first-team quality centre-halves. Without Gurma, you've still got Bjorn, Bright and Berman, and what that should allow Bonpastor to do is just give Gurma more time out, and if anything, give her more time out than she actually needs. So, just to put it, for example, if she's injured for, let's say, if a player's injured for 4 weeks, if you bring them back right at the end of that 4 weeks, there's a great chance they're going to go and get injured again because you've rushed them back and you've played them as soon as possible. Yeah. But if someone's out for 4 weeks, but you give them 5-6 weeks off, that's going to give that player time to get back to full match sharpness, make sure they're injury-free and be ready to go again. So I think that the position Chelsea are in now with how well Verla Berman has slotted into this Chelsea backline, Chelsea are in a position now where they can just afford to give Gurma more time off and to let her come back slowly, not rush her back, not throw her in and risk aggravating something else. I think it's important now that Bonpastor does just make sure Gurma comes back in nicely, and there's no need to force her back. Chelsea, obviously, she's a very, very good player, and Bonpastor will want her back, but it's not necessity. Chelsea don't need Gurma in that back line. They can they get by perfectly with Bjorn, Bright, Berman, whoever. So I think it's very important now that Chelsea make sure Gurma gets back to full fitness and doesn't aggravate anything by rushing her back.
But also don't let her return on international duty. Once Emma Hayes rings up, she asks about Thompson, you say, yep, she's all good. She asks about Macario, you say, well, actually, Macario's out and we'll get to that. But then she says, oh, what about Naomi Gurma? Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Same with Beekman. She asks about Lauren James, put the phone down. We're not answering those questions because we need those players to have an actual rest. What keeps happening is they come back from injury and then immediately shipped off on international duty and they play 90 minutes against Moldova and they get injured because they're playing on a plastic pitch in Moldova. Need to stop doing that. Need to stop allowing that. But yeah, that is that's got to be the paramount thing. Don't let players on international duty if they have been injured. Kat Macario, though, apparently trained on Monday, had a little bit of a niggle, a little injury concern, so didn't make the trip to Twente. Doesn't appear to me to be anything to worry about, and I think the right precautions being taken.
Yeah, exactly that. There's no reason to take Macario tonight. Chelsea have got a star-studded attacking lineup, and if she isn't 100%, then there's no need to take her. It'd be a wasted trip to go and risk getting injured further. So yeah, it makes sense. Keep her rested. She's played quite a lot of minutes at the start of this season, so I can understand why. Give her a week off. Make sure she's ready to go at the weekend against Tottenham, and yeah, I'm as you say, nothing to worry about there. I think again, it's smart from Chelsea with the quality and depth they've got. You can afford to be a little bit more precautionary and a little bit more easy and patient with players coming back from injury.
Endodozo asked about Mara Alba as well. Mara Alba's not registered for the Champions League. It's a bit of a weird one with Alba. I think Chelsea keep doing this. They did it a bit with Villa Berman, and they've done it with a few different players now, where the scouts have gone out and they've found these really exciting young talents that they feel you have to bring in. And so they sign them ahead of time, and then they come in the summer, and they're just not really sure what to do with them if they don't immediately fit in. Now, obviously, Captain was similar, but she came in and Bob Pastor immediately fell in love with her, and now she plays every match. And then you've got players like Villa Berman, who went out on loan, come back. She's looked phenomenal. So I think they would have wanted a loan from Mara Albert. Seemingly nothing really happened over the summer. Not the bet, an option they were happy with didn't come about. So Chelsea opted to keep her, but yeah, she hasn't featured at all yet. There will be cup competitions and there will be opportunities in the league, you will hope. But yeah, it feels a bit like Alejandra Bernabé all over again, where Bernabé was highly coveted, came in as this sort of backup left-back option. You think, she could feature for Chelsea. Didn't really play in the first half of the season, then went out on loan to Liverpool in the second half of the campaign, and then got sold in the summer to Liverpool. So, yeah, I think it could be a similar story for Mara Albert. I think Albert's immensely talented, and obviously has come through the youth ranks, looks really promising, and that's why Chelsea wanted to sign her. But yeah, isn't really first team level.
Yeah, it's one of those. They're always difficult situations because you want to give young players as much time as possible to develop, but obviously competition and results also comes first. So you have to find a balance, and it's the sort of thing, as you say, once we get cup competitions, once Chelsea are in the League Cup in the new year, once Chelsea are in the FA Cup in the new year, and maybe, if the WSL is looking a bit more comfortable, or if we, I think that it's one of those where we will see her at some point, and again we will see more rotated sides. Like if Chelsea get to the point where they've got a Champions League semi-final in the midweek and they've got a WSL game on the weekend, but they're already 9-10 points clear at the top of the table, then they'll rest heavily in that game, and that's when we'll see her. But yeah, it's always a difficult one to weigh up. It's a hard one to find a balance, but yeah, I think it's difficult because you don't want to see players not play and then get sold on, because they can be good, but if they were good enough for Chelsea right now, then they wouldn't leave. So it's a hard one to toss up.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted there because I thought Sonia Wapastor was holding a teddy bear and it was her coat. But there we go. That's how my mind works. Let's get into predictions ahead of this one. Then if you're watching along on the live stream, get involved in the chat. Let us know your scoreline prediction. I'll make sure to read them all out before kickoff. We're going to start here in the studio. Harry, how do you think this game is going to pan out?
I think the quality of Chelsea will reign supreme here in Twente, although they'll give it a good go and they've got some decent players themselves. Chelsea just look too strong, even with the rotated 11. I will say Twente 0, Chelsea 3. I think it'll be convincing for the Blues. Nothing silly because, as I said, got to give Twente their respect. They're a good defensive side and they've got some players that could cause Chelsea some issues. And I think that it will be difficult early stages. Chelsea got to settle in and then start to create chances. So I'll say 3-0. Yeah, it won't get absurd, it won't get out of hand. I will say Chelsea goal scorers there, and it will take a while for Chelsea to hit the front. But I think just before the end of the first half, Guro Wrighton will put the Blues ahead. I'll then say in the second half, it'll be goals from Aggie Beaver-Jones and Sondi Baltimore. Chelsea 3-0 win. Good start to the Champions League league phase and another really good game of football.
Yeah, fair enough. When they played last year, it was 3-1 at Twente's place. I think it will be a similar story. I think Chelsea will do slightly better, though. I'll say 21, Chelsea 4. That is Twente 1, Chelsea 4. Yeah, I think it's going to be a commanding victory for the Blues. I think they'll look at what Barcelona did to Bayern yesterday, and they'll want to try and take some inspiration, but I don't think they're going to get to 7. I still think they'll concede. I think at the moment Chelsea are conceding a few too many shots, and they rely on Hampton obviously being perfect, which he normally is. You've got Livia Peng in there today. I expect that eventually Twente will find a goal. I think it will still be a fairly comfortable win for the Blues, though. So yeah, I'm going to go for 4-1. I think it will be Ravensbergen who scores for FC Twente. She had a really sharp start to the, I think it's Vrauter Eredivisie, I want to say, is the women's Eredivisie, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, I think she'll do well. And as for Chelsea, I will say a goal for Beaver-Jones, a goal for Alyssa Thompson. I think it's important she opens up her account early into her Chelsea career. I'll say a goal for Sjoeke Nusken, because Sjoeke Nusken scores goals.
That is true.
And I'm going to say Sam Kerr from the bench.
Like it. I think it's a tight game where the number that Chelsea are going to score it will be determined by A, how long it takes Chelsea to get the first goal, and if Twente hang in there for 30-40 minutes, it's going to get more and more difficult for the Blues. But also Leme in goal, it's a very, very difficult one for her, because if she has a good game, then Chelsea will find it difficult, and that's the thing, she's going to face a lot of shots, so she's going to have to work hard to save them. But yeah, I think it's it's one of those where, again, a good performance from Lemay in net and a well-oiled defence, and Twente could make it really difficult for Chelsea to get on the score sheet tonight. So it all depends. Chelsea could be if they get a goal in the first 5 minutes, then it's going to be a very difficult night for the hosts. But it all depends. I think the longer this game stays 0-0, the more it will come towards Twente, and even if they don't get anything out of it, they can still put up a very good performance against a Chelsea side who will be hoping that this year is finally the year that they go out and claim that UWCL trophy. Chelsea just can't seem to get near it the last few years, but maybe this year is the year, and it starts all tonight. Get the job done tonight, professional win, go out and put a bit of a statement out there.
But I think the fact that apart from ignoring the back four, this is probably a second string side for Chelsea, shows the depth now, the quality and depth. Yeah. So that could definitely play a big part. I mean, probably Beaver Jones as well, but I think you can make an argument about when Ramirez comes back. Yeah. If Sam Kerr gets back to a level, then there's an argument there. But David Fraser saying 4-0 Zato, also saying 4-0 HB, going 2-0 Chelsea. David Fraser saying Thompson to score fist goal. I assume that means first goal and not Maradona. Riley says 3-1 Chelsea as well. So a lot of predictions expecting Chelsea to win. The poll in chat is 90%. Expecting Chelsea to win, 7% Twente, and 3% going for a draw. 5-0 prediction coming from Jack in chat as Chelsea get us underway here in Twente. It's Twente versus Chelsea as they kick off their respective Champions League campaigns. Important night tonight for both sides. For Twente, well, they'll be hoping to try and be one of the fortunate few pot 3 teams who could squeeze into the playoffs. As for Chelsea, well, they'll be aiming for the top 4, but with passes like that from Bright, it may be difficult.
Yeah, Twente, it's an interesting one, them being a pot 3 side, because to be honest, I think they've got some players and the quality to take the game to definitely some of the pot 2 sides, maybe not the pot 1 sides, but yeah, I'm surprised. Obviously, I'm not surprised they're a pot 3 side because that's the way it works, but I don't think it's representative where their quality is. I think they could definitely be up there with some of the pot 2 sides.
And Chelsea coming down the right-hand side now. Here's Alyssa Thompson who puts it into the box. Doesn't quite get that delivery right. I think with Twente as well, the games they've got against pot 2 sides are rather winnable. They play both the Madrid teams, and I think those games are winnable for Twente. At least they can offer a contest. They should win both their games, or at least offer a good challenge in both their pot 3 games. They've got OH Leuven next week, and they play Benfica in November. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how they can go at this tournament. Young Keys commented on our predictions video saying he thinks they're going to finish 11th in the league phase. Obviously slightly biased, yeah. But I think that is, it'll be interesting to see if they could do something like that. Twente in possession. Great pressure here from Chelsea, though. Nusken tries to head it on to Wrighton, but there is a foul in there on Van Ginkel.
Yeah, just a bit aggressive from Nusken. Gets to the ball first and wins the header, but just clatters into Van Ginkel in the process. Bit of an aggressive one. But yeah, fast start from Chelsea. They're doing well. They're high. They're being aggressive. Because again, they know that away from home against a decent side, if you don't take the advantage early, things can get a little bit difficult for you. As the game goes on.
Lemay sends it forward. A good one in there from Fiala Berman. Nusken out wide into Sandy Baltimore. Violette puts her under pressure, but she manages to squeeze a pass back to Carpenter. Carpenter out now to the right-hand side. Thompson holds the line well. Hamano with a give and go. It's amazingly quick is Alyssa Thompson. Good recovery defending, though, from Tuin, who gets back in and knocks it out of play. Unconventional to see a left-back with the number 11. But that is the number 2 in Don's. Ball thrown into the penalty area now. Beaver Jones trying to poke it towards a teammate. Cleared away by Twente, only as far as Carpenter on the right-hand side. Here's Thompson back to Carter. Lovely give and go. Ball in the box. Cleared away well by Knoll. And then sent forwards looking for Ravensbergen. Strong from Bright, though. Drops for Hermano now on the edge of the penalty area. Tries to slide it through the lines towards Carpenter. That's out of play, though, for a goal kick. Overhit, though, there from Hermano.
Yeah, this is exactly what we spoke about could happen for Twente, is that you just get bogged down, you get stuck in your own third, try to clear it there, and Millie Bright is the first one to win, get on that clearance and immediately recycle the ball. And when you're put under consistent pressure, sides like Chelsea will eventually find the back of the net. So it's good from Chelsea. They're keeping the ball alive, and it's sustained pressure at the moment onto the home side.
Jean-Francois into Nusken. Knocks it back now to Berman. It'd be nice for Chelsea to get a big victory tonight. I mean, they've got to try and put a dent in the goal difference margin that Barcelona have already established. Here is Guro Wrighton, delivery into the penalty area, and that's a comfortable claim for Leme. And it's important that she gets a few of those tonight, because it's going to be difficult to keep Chelsea out. But if she can just get a few comfortable claims, a few saves early on, might just bring her a bit of confidence into this game. Ball sent forwards, cut out well by Bright. It's going to drop in midfield for Van Ginkel. Now Tuin, out to the left-hand side. It's Proust, under pressure, holds onto the ball really well, and now links up with Van Ginkel. Can Twente build forwards? It's back to Tuin. Now down the line. Van Ginkel. Needs some support here. Finds Proust. Cuts out by Thompson. And that's out now for a Twente throw.
Yeah, kind of almost stood on each other's toes there. I'm not really sure why Jill Roord has drifted out into that position. Van Ginkel and Proust were already with each other, and Roord tried to provide an option by standing a yard away from the other two. Twente, you can't allow it to happen, because if you get drawn in like that and Chelsea's turn the ball and break, then you're going to find yourselves in trouble.
Ball thrown forwards, and Van Ginkel was caught there in the challenge by Sioka Nusken. Nothing given though, and now Chelsea with the throw-in forwards. Yeah, Nusken did definitely catch the player there. I think a little bit fortunate. And sent forwards out for a Twente throw. I live asking about the broadcasting. Yeah, BBC do have 7 matches of this tournament. They will have both legs of one semi-final. They've got the final. They've got Chelsea-Barcelona. They've got United-PSG. And then 2 mystery games, which you assume will be either probably a knockout playoff round match and a quarter-final or something like that.
Have they not got the final?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. I did listen.
Listen and then went, just completely ignored it. Here's Berman. Now Bright. Looking out to progress the ball back to Fila Berman. And it's out to the left-hand side. Baltimore tries there to carry the ball forwards. Cut out well by Vliek. They can now play in behind here. Ball slipped in behind well by Iberink. But they're given up there by Ravensbergen.
Ravensbergen will be annoyed with herself because she made the run and then she stopped thinking she was going to be offside because she'd ran past Berman and looked to be offside. But further in the middle of the pitch, Millie Bright was playing her on there. If she'd kept on that run, then the ball would have been timed perfectly.
I think she'd be not more annoyed at Iberink because she had to make that run like 3 times there before it finally got played through. Carpenter. Looking for some Chelsea options. Beaver Jones. Back now to Ellie Carpenter. And a pass inside to Jean-Francois. Now here's Berman. Looking to spread the play to the left-hand side. And it's Sondi Baltimore now. Under pressure from Vliek. It's a lovely ball round the corner into Wrighton. Back to Baltimore. Back into Guro Wrighton. She can get there. Puts it across the box. And Noel blocks it out for a Chelsea corner.
Good combinations from Chelsea. Again, wide areas are going to be key. Especially down the left-hand side with Baltimore and Wrighton looking to cause problems. But well dealt with by Twente. That's what they've got to do. Get out quickly. Close them down. Do not let that ball come into the penalty area.
By the way, we've got a goal in the other quarter-6 kickoff. It's Real Madrid 1, Roma 0. Alba Redondo leading the line tonight for Real Madrid, finding that goal. Ball in now from Jean-Francois. Flicked on the front post, and not bad from Maggie Beaver-Jones, but can't quite find the target.
Yeah, good ball in that from Jean-Francois. And Beaver-Jones, running backwards, has done well, to be fair, to get this towards the goal, and it just hits the side netting and goes wide. But that is not a bad header at all. No,
almost creeping in there at the front post. Berman here under a bit of pressure. Does well to fight for the ball back. Roord, though, turns it over. And now here come Twente. And it's a switch to the play that's going to release the left-hand side in behind. Here's Proust. Can she pick out a teammate? Can she take on Carpenter? Now she can. It's blocked wide by Ellie Carpenter. But Chelsea undone there by the directness of that ball from Jill Roord.
Yeah, really good defending from Carpenter, but great football from Twente. They draw Chelsea in. Berman got a bit messy with it. And they managed to get blue shirts across to the right-hand side and switched it quickly. And put Proust on in a one-on-one with Carpenter, who did well. But good stuff from Twente, threatening Chelsea, coming straight back at them. Good chance of Beaver-Jones, and then Twente react by going up the other end and winning themselves a corner.
And can they put more pressure now on Chelsea from this corner? Ball delivered in towards the front post. Headed away well by Wrighton. Hamano tries to get the flick on. Twente keeping the ball alive. Noll Goes back to a goalkeeper, but Thompson's going to put her under pressure here. Cleared away well by Lemme out to the left-hand side. Kept in well by Proust. But it's cut out. And here comes Sondy Baltimore. Options left and right for Chelsea's left wing back, deputising at the moment a right wing back. Wrighton to Carpenter. They've just swapped full-back positions for the moment. Here is Berman. Now Bright. Baltimore. Trying to shimmy inside. Here's Jean-Francois. Back to Baltimore. Look for an option down the line. We'll now look to switch the play. That looked fairly aimless and picked off well by Iberdink.
It's good from Twente. They're really cutting off the options for Chelsea. And they've done well there. They've forced Baltimore a lot. And that's exactly what you need to do. Force Chelsea long and then just turn it over.
Wrighton, though, coming down the left-hand side now. Wants to take on Vliek. And that's a good challenge from the fullback, but that's out for a Chelsea corner.
Better from Guro Wrighton, much sharper. Just picks the ball up, flicks it past Vliek and then tries to take her on the one-on-one. And it's well recovered by the Twente fullback. But good stuff from Guro Wrighton. That's what we want to see from Guro Wrighton. Bit of dynamism, bit of pace. Bit of, causing defenders problems.
And now a corner for the Blues. And we already saw them threaten from their last delivery. Can they do one better on this one? Jean-Francois again. This time goes short into Baltimore, who lays to the edge of the box. Carpenter puts it in there. Flicks off a Twente midfielder. Drops in the box for Bright, but she can't quite get there as it bounced through to the goalkeeper.
Not sure about that routine. Yeah, I say not sure about that routine. It feels weird to criticise it because it did end up getting in the box, but it was really haphazard and to be honest, fortunate that the eventual ball from Carpenter was deflected, because if it wasn't, then it probably would end up being very flat, and it could deflect anywhere, to be frank.
Yeah, indeed. Twente on the ball now. Pass out to Vliek. One more down the line. That's a lovely football in midfield, and it's Vliek now bearing on goal for Twente. Shifts it across and has to go for goal there. Criminal decision to pass it, and that lets Chelsea off the hook.
Wow. What a let-off. What a let-off for Chelsea. Why has Vliek tried to pass that? Really good football. 1-2 touch stuff. Just completely pulls Chelsea apart, and suddenly Vliek finds herself on goal. Why has she tried to square this? Has to go for goal herself.
Unbelievable.
Carpenter recovers well as she tries to play it across to Ravensberger, but that was never going to work. Vliek has to go for goal herself there. That is a massive waste of an opportunity for Twente. Massive waste.
Just looks across and wants to shift it to Ravensberg, and the fullback there not backing herself in the opponent's penalty area. You feel she's got to go for goal.
Yeah, what a chance.
Right. Lifting it out to the left-hand side. Baltimore heads it down to Berman, who tries to play it forwards. Cut out low by Vliek, who's having a bit of a stormer so far. Iverink. Back now to Knoll, who sends it forwards. Ravensbergen tries to bring it down. Bright, though, sends it the other way. That will bounce through to the Twente keeper, Lemme. Now they can settle on the ball again, Twente.
It's not comfortable for Chelsea. It really isn't. I spoke how in these kind of games, yes, you're the strong opposition, but you're away from home in a European tie. You just need to settle in, but I don't think Chelsea have yet in this game. 7 changes to the starting 11, although they obviously it's still a very, very high quality side. You've got to get to settle into the match and get going, because Chelsea really haven't got started in this contest, and Twente have right up for this and probably should have taken advantage of the fact that Chelsea are yet to get going.
Jean-Francois, misplaced pass, does recover it though. Now Berman, Baltimore. Back to Villa Berman. It goes all the way back to Peng. There's not enough options really for Chelsea. Everyone wants to go forward. But Jean-Francois is a single pivot, and Nuskin and Hamano basically playing as 10s. There's just no one back for Chelsea. Beaver Jones, now Hamano. Into Thompson, could go one wider here to Carpenter, overlaps well, lifts it in towards the penalty area. Wrighton can't get there, would drop for Baltimore. Good defending from Iverink though, who then hooks it out of play for a Chelsea throw-in. Much better movement though from Chelsea through the lines there. They're having more joy on the right-hand side than they are the left, with that overlapping run of Carpenter. working quite nicely at the moment with Thompson. Here's Baltimore. Shifts it inside to Nusken, who tries to spin. She thinks she was fouled in there. Twente come the other way. Ibrink's clearance blocked by Hamano, out for a Twente throw.
Yeah, Chelsea do look better when they can get the ball wide and get the fullbacks overlapping. But it's in the middle where it gets a bit scrappy, and that's when Twente have an opportunity. As I spoke about it in the build-up, Twente with that midfield, especially with Van Ginkel and Roord in there, if that's where they're going to win the battle. And so far, they're doing a good job of running things in the centre of the pitch.
Here is Proust. That's Carpenter all over her, though. And it's being forced back. That's great pressure from Carpenter, who gets hacked down. Does manage to win the ball back, though. Nusken, Beaver Jones, one more onto Hamano. Flood of Chelsea players in the box, cuts it back for Nusken, who flicks it towards goal. But that will trickle wide. Actually, the goalkeeper will keep it in touch. That's so... You're not going to generate enough power, really, or direction with that. Nusken just trying to get something on the ball, which, to be fair, no one else is going to get there.
So many better options here for Shocker Nusken to do. Brilliant from Carpenter, gets taken out, gets up, keeps going, advantage played. Hamano puts it in. And Nusken there, she's got time to take a touch and then finish it. Or just leave it and let it run to Guro Wrighton. Instead, tries to...
I don't think it would have got to Wrighton, to be fair.
Yeah, but then you try and flick it onto... I
think that's what she was trying to do. Here is Nusken, cuts it back, looking for Wrighton, drops for Hamano. It's just trickling off all the Chelsea players there, and it's back to Leme.
Just a bit of a lack of conviction. Like it's really good football from Chelsea, but someone's got to take control in that scenario. Once that ball comes from Nusken, Hamajo's got to go, because it was a bit of a mix-up. There was 2 or 3 Chelsea players that it could have gone to or could have fell to, and Hamano just prodded it forwards.
Ball floated in behind. Villaberman will get across there. I've got another goal, by the way, in the other kick-off. It is Real Madrid 1, Roma 1. So all square there. And Real's tough start to the campaign seemingly continues.
Yeah, they seem so leaky at the back, Real Madrid, this season.
It's interesting because you look at their squad on paper and they look really strong.
Yeah.
But it's, for whatever reason, it's just not materialising. Baltimore takes it past Ibrink well. Great drive from Sonny. Baltimore gets into the penalty area. Tries to cut it back, and it's one back by Twente. Grunen tries to send it forwards. Here is Jean-Francois, picks it off, bursting into the box, cuts it back for Michael Hamano. And she's got to do better with that. All of the goal to aim for, and just gets too much under it. And puts it over the bar.
Again, it's
a great chance for Chelsea.
Yeah, Van Ginkel trying to play out, picked off by Jean-Francois, puts a great ball across the box, and I tell you what, Hamano's got to find the back of the net with that one. Just leans back, gets under it, and sends it sailing over the bar. They had so much time, under no pressure. Had to do better there. Good opportunity that for Chelsea, who have just started to get up to speed in the last couple of minutes.
Here come Twente. Pass in towards Roord, headed down by Jean-Francois. Wrighton tries to flick it on. Nusken, bit of a high boot, but she doesn't actually make any contact with the players to get away with it. Beaver Jones does have to go back now to Bright. Here is Viola Berman. Into Baltimore. Berman. Now Bright. And here is Carpenter. Tries to poke that forwards, though not accurate. And Groenewegen sends it back to our goalkeeper, who's under pressure. But they play out. Van Ginkel to the left-hand side. Chewin. Now Knoll. Leme. Sends it forward. Ravensbergen holds it up well. The striker up against Millie Bright. Knoll. Lovely pass through the lines into Carler. Poor touch in there from Vliek. And now here come Chelsea. Now Baltimore is forced backwards immediately. Berman. Cross now to Bright. And one more to Carpenter down the line into Thompson. Who now has to go back to Bright. Twente have been really disciplined so far.
Played well. Done exactly what you need to do again when you are the underdog.
But Chelsea have had chances, and they could probably be 1 or 2-0 up in this first half if they were to take them. Pass down to the left-hand side. Kept in well by Wright, and he puts it into the box. That's headed away well. Only as far as Nusken on the edge, who strikes it. That's a really good stop from Leme to hold on to that ball and deny Nusken from range.
Another effort for Chelsea. Again, Nusken does to bring it down. Catches it okay. Doesn't get too much power behind it. And it's a good stop from Leme. But again, Chelsea keeping the pressure on.
Carpenter onto Thompson. Shimmies back inside. Can she pick someone out in the box? Finds Wrighton, pokes it goalward. Blocked by Carlier. Here's a chance now for Jean-Francois. Falls for Beaver Jones. Back across to Thompson. He will look now to put it on her left foot. It's a really good challenge from Chewin. Great from Jean-Francois to win it back. Referee blows her whistle though. And that is a Twente free kick.
Yeah, Twente needed that because Chelsea were really putting them under pressure. Great cutback is from Thompson, learning off Carnereed almost. That was a bit of a JRK chop in there. Managed to completely sell the dummy on the defender. Played it to Gura Wrighton, who could poke it goalwards. But again, lacked a little bit of conviction, and it was a good block in there. But good stuff from Chelsea. Thompson causing issues. But yeah, great to see that the trademark JRK chop may be becoming part of Thompson's game as well.
She's learnt it already.
Yeah.
That does mean she's only going to score 1 goal a season, though.
But keep chopping.
That's the symptom of the chop.
Yeah.
Ball forwards. Nusken tries to poke it on. Does find its way through to Thompson. It's then dealt with well by Chewin, who knocks it out of play.
Yeah, everything dangerous for Chelsea coming down the right-hand side.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Thompson into Beaver Jones, who's trying to wriggle room for a shot in the penalty area. Now Carpenter puts it in there, looking for Wrighton. Cleared away, though, well by Vliek. Berman out to Baltimore. Trying to make something happen here. Takes on Overink. Cleared away well. Now here come Twente. Rord, Van Ginkel. Back across to Groenewegen, Vliek, Carlier. Under pressure at Twente, but they play out well, and now Vliek will carry the ball forwards into Ravensbergen. Holds it up well, one back though by Hermano. And Ravensbergen tries to foul her, but Bright comes away with the ball. Shifts it into Wrighton. Back into Beaver Jones now, who can go direct. Beaver Jones towards goal. Tries to cut inside. No room there though. Manages to poke it to Bright, who crosses it in. It's over everyone though. Can Thompson keep this in play? She will. And Chelsea can keep the pressure on now. Carpenter. Thompson. Back to Carpenter. And shifts it back to Jean-Francois. Just slotted in at centre half for the moment while Bright was going on a drive. Berman. Can she make something happen for Chelsea? Gets caught in possession. And now they'll look to break Twente. Here comes Iverink. Tidy footwork into Rord. Groenewegen. She'll be forced back now. Got another goal by the way in Real Madrid. Roma. It's Real Madrid 2, Roma 1. We're watching the wrong game this evening. If we want all the goals, Caroline Weir with the strike for Real Madrid.
It's again story of Real Madrid's season. Looked pretty decent in front of goal, but defensively really struggled, and errors from goalkeeper and defensive let them down. But they're back ahead in that one. That would be a big win if they can hold on to it. But I tell you what, the chances of that happening are very slim. Watch out for more goals in that one. That is certainly not over.
Indeed. Twente now playing out. Carried forward well by Knoll to Proust, who tries to keep it in touch, but it has just gone out of play.
Yeah, you feel like Chelsea are just starting to grow into the ascendancy. But Twente still keeping this game level, still hanging on in there. Halfway through the first 45 minutes now. It's been a good shift from the home side.
Tidy from Proust. One back in there, though, by Nusken. And now Carpenter. There is a foul in there, I think.
Yeah, it was a while back. I think it was Carpenter just pulled back Rord there.
Yeah,
no.
a bit in there, not much.
Yeah, so it's a... Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But Twente get the free kick. They haven't really done much with it.
Poked out of play for another Twente throw.
And this is what I said earlier, that the longer Twente just hang on in there and keep this game 0-0, the more it's difficult it's going to get for Chelsea.
Here is Rord, tries to play it through the lines. One back by Baltimore. And now Peng. Here's Bright. Carpenter. Hamano. Back now to Millie Bright. And here is Villa Verman. Tries to play it through the lines. Baltimore. Holds on to it well. And now here comes Nuskun into Guro Wrighton. Baltimore. Lovely pass inside to Nuskun. Tries to go in behind, but Weaver Jones isn't going to get there. And that is out of play for a Twente goal kick.
You can tell Shaka Nuskun is not quite match fit yet. Yeah. You know, you can tell she's come back from injury. It's absolutely fine. It's what these games are for. You know, I'd rather see Nuskun, you know, maybe getting it wrong slightly here and there against Twente than I would in UWCL. So, you know, this is what these games are for. But you can just tell just half a yard off it at the moment.
You can also tell perhaps Jean-Francois isn't the sharpest as well. I think the two of them in midfield together, naturally, then considering neither of them have played loads this season, do look a little bit off it. But yeah, as you say, this is what this kind of game is for, because you're going to introduce that rotation now. So
I think they're not playing badly. They're just not. It's why it's breaking down in certain areas, because that final ball or the midfield conduction isn't quite there.
Baltimore with a give and go with Nuskun. One back though by Groenewegen. Iverink. Back now to Groenewegen. Picked up high up the pitch here by Wrighton. Not had a play well by Vliek.
Yeah, that Twente midfield three of Groenewegen, Rord and Van Ginkel has done very, very well. They're battling hard in there, and it's making it very difficult for Chelsea to progress the ball forwards, especially because there's three of them in there. When Chelsea do move the ball wide, they can afford to send one of the three of them out into the wide area just to help out a little bit with the defensive work, and it's helped them a lot because it's giving them an extra number to defend wide spaces, which is where most sides get hurt against the big teams.
I think the structure of Chelsea tonight, especially the midfield, is interesting with how high Nuskun is. Because she's playing as almost a second striker at times in this game. Here is Guro Wrighton, who looks to lift it in behind the run of Beaver Jones. Well timed there by Chelsea's number 9. Cuts it back, but it's cut out well. And now Groenewegen comes forward. Cuts out by Jean-Francois, though. Takes pace off the ball, and it will drop now to Bright. Now Jean-Francois. Baltimore. Back now to Berman. Baltimore, and that's too casual. And it rolls under a foot.
Yeah. And again, things like that happen in games like these. How often do you see Sonny Baltimore just miscontrolling the football? I mean, Sonia Bonpastor's not happy with something in a very heated conversation with the fourth official.
Beaver Jones carries the ball forward, takes aim, and it's a really good stop there. Down to the left-hand side of Lemay and holds the ball again.
Yeah, and again, does really well not only to save it, but to hold on to it. This one was probably hit better than the Nuskun one earlier on.
Yeah, a lot more power behind it.
Yeah, and that's she's done well there, Lemay, to hold on to that one.
And she's been comfortable dropping down to the left and right. Carpenter with a good challenge there to stop Proust progressing. He's had a few runs at Carpenter this evening, Proust. Hasn't been able to make anything happen just yet, but has gotten the ball a fair lot. Another throw in there as it's knocked out of play. Chewin here taking some liberties with where the ball went out of play. She's going to end up by the penalty area by this in a moment. Ravenswagen tries to spin Bright. Bright drags her down. Twente free kick now in the Chelsea half.
Yeah, again, Millie Bright just caught out on the turn. And it's a bit of a soft one, a bit of a silly one to give away as well.
She doesn't need to.
Yeah. Because the ball's got over both of them. Neither of them are going to get there.
I don't think Ravensbergen's lightning quick either. You know, if it's someone like Shakira Martinez, where we saw it in that West Ham game, who is going to skin Bright if she gets away, then fair enough. But there's not even a necessity for a foul there. But again, it's Millie Bright getting caught out and having to commit a foul to make up for it.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to see it this season? Giroud over this free kick then. Swings it into the penalty area. Carpenter makes first contact. It's going to drop for Proust. And that one, even in a stadium of this size, would be lucky to stay in the ground.
Yeah, I think Hamana did enough there just to put her off. And yeah, did not catch that sweetly at all. And a bit of a waste opportunity for Twente. That'd be my only criticism of the Dutch side so far, I think, is that when they have had opportunities to either get the ball down and play or opportunities in the Chelsea third, they haven't taken them. And when you're up against a side the quality of the Blues, you kind of do need to be clinical and be dangerous when you can get on the ball.
Yeah, and here is Sandy Baltimore then with the throw. Looking for options down the line. Well, taking her time, does go into the feet of Wrighton. Slightly dubious throwing. Tries to go backwards, but it's knocked out of play by Ravensbergen. And here come Chelsea now down the left-hand side. Baltimore. Again with the throw-in. This time into Beaver Jones' feet. Doesn't quite get the flick on. And well, there's some strong challenge in there from Iberink. Out of play again for another throw.
But again, that's what you've got to do. It's assertive. Stops Baltimore getting on the ball.
Into Nuskan's feet, who turns well. Hamano. Now to Bright. And she can go out wide into Ellie Carpenter, who shimmies back inside. Thompson to Carpenter. Back now to Alyssa Thompson, who goes back into Ellie Carpenter, who won't be able to stay on side. I won't be able to keep it in, sorry.
Yeah, again, overhit. And lacking precision from Chelsea in the final third. And that's just what that final ball in the first half an hour for Chelsea just has been a little bit lacklustre at times.
And this one plucked out the air well by Iberink. And a bit of a mess. And there is a Chelsea free kick in there. Iberink used her arm there to control that ball. And here is Baltimore. Wrighton. Hamano tries to touch it on. Chelsea just trying to be too clever about it in the final third.
Yeah.
Cleared away by Leme. I don't think it needs to be this complicated. All these dainty little flicks and touches. If it's 3-0, sure. Have some fun with it. But just control the ball and pass it back. But yeah. Hamano tries to play it down the line. Ends up running out of play though.
Again though, Hamano, I know it's a bit of a difficult one because of where she's received it, but she's had to, she's tried to take two players on there right on the byline. You never give her a shimmy past two players there and then keep it in and use it. Yeah, it's just been a little bit sloppy from Chelsea in the far third. And again, another free kick given away from Hamano there. It was the one just hassling the Twente backline.
Yeah, just grabbing there a little on Van Ginkel.
I know a strong half an hour. A half an hour I think Twente will be very happy with. Big 15 minutes now though. Because this is where Chelsea will want to make it count as the half gets closer to ending.
Baltimore carries the ball forwards. Looks to beat Iberink. Good defending there from Vliek, who gets across well. And now Baltimore trying to find the ball amongst the substitutes, who are making it difficult. Baltimore. Wrighton. Baltimore. Cuts out well by Iberink. Now Ravensbergen. Berman tries to be assertive. Too aggressive though. 2 hands on the back. That's always going to get given. But yeah, I think Karina Deck will be really proud of how Twente have started in this game. You look at the aggression, the tenacity, the discipline in this side. And they look up for it. They've got a game plan. They've executed it very well so far.
Yeah, exactly.
And Chelsea have had chances. They've had 1, 2, 3 maybe that could have gone in quite easily. But other than that, they've been limited well by Twente.
Yeah, I think that what Twente have done is actually the reaction. Because I thought, as you say, the first 15, 20 minutes, Chelsea actually had some decent chances. And probably Hamana's one was the best one about 10 minutes ago. But since then, it's just been a couple of pot shots. And the game is becoming a bit of just a bit scrappy in the midfield, which of course Twente are going to love and Chelsea aren't going to like.
Yeah. Here come Twente again. Cut out though by Nusken. Out for a Twente throw. And now Twente will look to go up the right-hand side. FC says we've had the better chances, but we're not clinical. Well, I haven't been clinical in this game. I think Chelsea in general are usually quite clinical, but yeah, they haven't finished them off today. Here is Van Ginkel over this free kick, then Jean-Francois committing the foul, and they play it short. Vliek down the line, Iverink. That's one back by Berman, who does well to hold on to it. Knocks out of play, but to come off a 20 players, that will be a Chelsea throw-in. Berman down the line, flicked on well by Wrighton. Into Beaver Jones, holds it up well. Jean-Francois back to Guro Wrighton. Here come Chelsea now. Wrighton has to pick up the right ball here, tries to go across the box, cuts out well. And it's back to goalkeeper Leme. Wrong decision from Guro there.
Yeah. She was asking a lot of herself to play that ball between 4 or 5 bodies to pick out Alyssa Thompson at the far post. Yeah. It had been inch perfect, and it wasn't.
And while this remains 0-0, we've got a 4th goal of the game between Real Madrid and Roma. It's Real Madrid 2, Roma 2. Harvey with that one.
I told you.
And so all square again in Madrid.
What a game.
Still all square here, but a very different game. Here is Sandy Baltimore. Looks to take on Iverink. Cuts it back. Here's Nusken. Could take aim. Tries to pass it down to Wrighton. That's poor though from Sioka Nusken. Great win though to get it back. Puts in a strong challenge. Beaver Jones. Hamano wanted to go wide first time. Has to go to Carpenter though. Then to Thompson. Hamano now offering support. Thompson wants to take on Chewin. Looks to go around the outside. Wrighton, who heads it on but can't keep it in. I can't have it on target. Sorry, Baltimore keeps it in. Wants to take on the fullback. Does want it to be Iberink. Ball into the box. Cleared away. Going to drop now for Jean-Francois, who will recycle. Berman. Bright. Direct into Thompson, who wants to be dangerous on the ball. Cuts inside. Hamano. Back to Thompson. Carpenter. Players in the box. If she can pick someone out with a cross, puts it in there. Flicked up in the air and away by Carlier, and then cleared away. Only as far as the halfway. Chelsea looking to sustain this pressure. Thompson. Darts inside with danger. Tries to slide it in behind for Carpenter, but it's scooped out by Chewin at a Chelsea corner.
Good period for Chelsea, putting some very dangerous balls into the Twente penalty area, but dealt with by the home side so far. But this is a good run, just keeping Twente under the pump. Again, this is the tackle from Nusken a moment ago that she got absolutely spot on to keep the ball alive and to keep Chelsea in the Twente third. But now, just under 10 minutes of the half, Chelsea will want to find the opener soon.
Ball into the box, headed away. Now Baltimore, who can take aim and struck it well. Goalkeeper almost spilling it out, but does well. But yeah, could have made that a little more difficult. Baltimore struck it well, but too central.
Yeah, it took a little nick on the way through as well. But it's one of those where I think Baltimore would have wanted the ball to have a little bit more pace onto it and she can then run onto it. It ended up spinning quite wide and it slowed down a lot.
And Olivia Payne, for all of Chelsea's slow start, we haven't really seen Olivia Payne.
Yeah, she's probably having a great time.
Baltimore. Into the feet of Beaver Jones, whose touch is positive, takes her forwards. Vliek tries to see it out of play, and that has come off Aggie Beaver Jones. That will be a Twente throw. Vliek goes down the line into the feet of Rord. Jean-Francois does well into Wrighton, who tries to go around the corner, looking for Beaver Jones. Just cleared out of play by Carlier. Baltimore. Here is Nusken. Berman. Now Payne. And it's Millie Bright. Hamano. Looks right. Finds Carpenter on the overlap. Trying now to create an opportunity for Chelsea. Hermano. Millie Bright. Now here's Villa Berman. Knocks out to the left-hand side. Wrighton. Baltimore. Puts it in the box, and that is claimed well by goalkeeper Lemme.
Again, not bad football from Chelsea, getting it into wide areas, getting it in the box, but it's got to be more dangerous than that. Chelsea, I think that's the one thing that Chelsea struggle with is picking out another blue shirt from these crosses. We've seen some great balls, in the box, but they've gone straight across the face of goal or straight to the goalkeeper or met by a Twente defender. Chelsea have got to start picking out their teammates with these crosses.
Hermano. Now Carpenter. Jean-Francois. Does really well there against the aggressive press abroad. Berman. Out now to Guro Wrighton. Back down the line to Baltimore. Lovely give and go. Looking for an option in the penalty area. No one there. Cleared back to Baltimore though. But yeah, Chelsea's crosses just seem to be fairly aimless at the moment. And that one, she tells everyone to run front post and then just crosses it back post.
Yeah, 3 players made the same run. And yeah, just no one seems to be on the same wavelength in a Chelsea shirt tonight. But the quality, the crossing and getting wide is the right thing to do because it's where they're getting the most joy. But it doesn't matter if that's working if no one's getting on the end of the crosses. The balls have got to be more accurate and got to be putting your teammates into good positions to score. Big 5 minutes now for both of these sides.
Baltimore. Nusken now. Looking for a pass inside. Back to Berman. Now Bright. And it's Carpenter on the right-hand side. Holding the width well. Thompson now into Hermano. Doesn't quite understand what's happening. Nusken. Now Hermano. Carpenter. Lovely turn. Puts it across the box. No one for Chelsea can quite get there. That's excellent from Hermano there. Had no idea that pass was coming from Thompson. And it was quite a bit ahead of her. Did well just to poke it on.
Yeah. But again, it's just...
It's a great turn from Carpenter. But yeah, no one able to get to that.
It's another half-decent ball. Probably a bit too close to the goalkeeper. Needed to be a bit closer to her teammates. But it's not bad from Carpenter. And no one's anywhere near it. Someone's got to be there.
I think Jones could have even still, throwing stuff at it. May well have made contact. Bright. Hounded there by Ravensberg and out for a Chelsea throw. Baltimore goes over to collect the ball. And just allow Chelsea to take their shape. And another goal in Real Madrid. Roma, it's Real Madrid 3, Roma 2. And it's Alba Redondo with her second and Real Madrid's third of the game. Set up by Linda Caicedo.
What a game.
Thompson, Hermano, back to Thompson. Nice give and go. Here comes Thompson running at Van Ginkel. Where's the cutback? Can't find it. Back now to Hermano. Thompson. And she's forced back to Orion Jean-Francois. Bright to Bierman. Nusken now out wide to Wrighton, who darts inside well. Nusken. And that cross blocked well by the referee. That will be a Chelsea drop ball. Best interception I've seen all evening.
Yeah. Oh, that's really slotty from Chelsea as well. Referee jots the ball and Nusken plays it to Hermano, who just controls it and allows Twente to clear it out. Just clear it into the Chelsea half.
Lovely drive inside from Baltimore. Now out wide to Guro Wrighton, who puts it into the penalty area. It's going to drop now for Thompson on the edge. Has options either side. Takes aim. And it's spilled out and cleared away by Twente. Bright now steps onto it. It picks up in the air. Headed down. Chance now for Bright. Dragged down the edge of the box. And there's an offside flag in there against Hermano, I believe.
Wow. Again, Chelsea just... It's threatening and it is putting pressure on Twente, but it's just so unorthodox and so, I don't know, it's just all kind of cobbled together, and Bright steps up and just hoofs it in the air. And then a Twente player heads it down to Bright, who and just runs into it into the penalty area. It's just, it's all a little bit messy.
But it just breaks what Chelsea have been trying to do, because they're trying to hold on to the ball and slowly break down Twente. That doesn't happen then when your centre half just decides to smash up in the air.
Yeah.
Ball slipped in behind. Beaver Jones wants to take on Cardell. Thompson. Carpenter. Beaver Jones. Carpenter. Back to Beaver Jones. I have to say, really good performance from Twente. This is how to execute a low block. Berman dragged back there. And that will be given as a Chelsea 3 kick. But it's just any team playing possession-based football. It's going to, it's going to take time to break Twente down. Chelsea have had the chances. It becomes a very different game if those go in, because Twente's game plan's ruined then, and the space opens up a little bit more. But Twente, because they've still got something to fight for, are so disciplined at the moment.
Yeah.
Baltimore. Now Hamano. Berman. Now Millie Bright. Out to the right-hand side. Carpenter. Thompson. Pass inside to Jean-Francois. Now Carpenter. Tries to slip it in behind. It's cut out by Van Ginkel. Pass forward. I think we'd be lucky to get any other time in this half. We are indeed. That is the half-time whistle. Twente 0, Chelsea 0. All square still here in the Netherlands after 45 minutes in this Champions League side. Chelsea, despite being the stronger team, unable to find a route to goal. 60% possession for the Blues, 11 shots to 2, 38 attacks to 5, according to UEFA statistics. So all of the ball, all of the chances, but unable at the moment to capitalise on that superiority. I think it's interesting because a lot of the narrative this season is that Chelsea have been unable to, or a lot of the media narrative, a lot of the narrative from Chelsea fans is that they've been unable to create chances, and they're playing boring football. In this game, Chelsea created loads of chances, and I'm sure there'll still be people complaining because it hasn't gone in yet. But the football's been really impressive today. Chelsea have dictated the tempo very well. They've got the ball into wide areas. They've created opportunities, but it just hasn't gone quite yet for the Blues.
Yeah, it's been a difficult half, but as you say, there was positives to take from that for Chelsea. They had some opportunities, and it's just final ball, which isn't necessarily a problem, because that will come to fruition. It's the right positions for Chelsea. It's the right ideas. It's just the wrong execution, which is let them down at the moment. But that is an easy fix at the end of the day, because all you've got to do is tell your world-class fullback to just put a better ball into the box, and that is very likely to happen. But yeah, I think it's been we knew it was going to be tough for Chelsea. You're going away from home against a Twente side who are very, very good. But as I say, I think it's just the quality in the final third has got to improve a little bit in terms of those crosses, that final ball. The amount of times we've seen the ball just been put aimlessly into the penalty area when there are good options on, or the ball just being, it should be a good move, but it just ends up being a little bit, stop, start and clunky as they shift the ball around. So it's the right ideas, and Chelsea have been getting into good positions. Just the execution has been lacking a little bit so far.
I think that's the thing, when you are dominating the ball in the opponent's half, and the intention of the play style is very much, we're going to move the ball gradually, wait for Twente to come onto us, and then when those gaps open up, you move it quickly through the lines to create chances. The problem is when the passing is imperfect, and at times there's a bit of a misunderstanding between players. That is especially difficult then when you want to move the ball quickly through the lines, because at the moment those passes just aren't quite coming off. I think decision making for the final in the final third has been pretty poor from Chelsea. I think Guro Reiten has got the ball a few times on the left hand side and has just made the wrong decision. I think Alyssa Thompson similarly is just hasn't looked direct enough, hasn't looked threatening enough. Oftentimes just late, stays on the ball, stands on the ball, waiting for those chances. Nothing really happens. I think Chelsea are waiting for a bit of a spark in this game, and it just at the moment isn't coming.
Yeah, and I think that it isn't helped by the fact that when it isn't working for Chelsea in wide areas, and if that final ball isn't working, those crosses aren't landing where you want them. The way to then go is you come inside and use your midfielders. But Twente have been very, very good, and I think that midfield battle is being won by the home side, Chelsea, and they've got the pivot of Nusken and Aurélien Jean-Francois, and Jean-Francois hasn't had too many minutes since the start of the season, and Shaka Nusken's just back from injury, so they both just look half a yard off the pace, which is expected, and that isn't a problem, but people have got to be patient, and obviously loads of people were calling for Shaka Nusken to be back, and expecting her to return once she came back from injury. She has done that, and now I'm sure there's people who will be the first people to criticise her. So you got a bit of patience, still getting back to full fitness. But yeah, it's one of those where you've got two midfielders on the pitch for Chelsea who haven't played every single week. One's just come back from injury. I wasn't expecting them to come in and effortlessly just be dominating the midfield, especially up against that Twente midfield three who have been absolutely brilliant in there. I think that they've all played very, very well, and it's a well balanced midfield for Twente that are just winning it when it gets scrappy in there, because it's 3v2 and Twente have got that extra player to use. It just means they're coming off better in those battles. When it spills out, it's more likely to spill to a Twente player than it is a Chelsea player, because there are more numbers in there for the home side. So it's been difficult for Chelsea, because when it hasn't worked in those wide areas, you try and get your midfielders involved, but that isn't really working either. And then just across the board, the final ball and the accuracy around the edge of the penalty area has just been missing a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, you notice Kira Walsh the most when she's not on the pitch.
Yeah.
Because that's what's missing tonight for Chelsea, is someone that will just dictate the tempo. I think Chelsea's midfield structure is a little bit, or very aggressive this evening, and it just hasn't really worked yet. Jean-Francois and Nusken, both don't really look 100% on it. Hermano should have done better with her opportunity, but I've been inherently worried about Chelsea. I think as this game goes on, Twente will tire, the chances become more frequent, and Chelsea will find goals. I think it's subs as well will start to wear Twente down even more. But yeah, I just think it's a lot of players in the Chelsea team who perhaps haven't played a load of football together. They're bringing in players like Alyssa Thompson, looking at Wrighton hasn't played loads this season. Sjokka Nusken hasn't played at all yet this season. Jean-Francois only played a handful of minutes so far this season. So yeah, a lot of rotation in the side, and Chelsea have had chances. It could be a very different game. As I say, 10 shots to 2, 4 on target to none on target. It has been dominant in the manner of the performance, but they just haven't quite found a route to goal so far for Chelsea. They have had chances in this game, and they have put Twente under some decent pressure. But let's talk. Let's see some of the thoughts in the live chat. A lot of people not happy that Chelsea aren't leading yet. Moondrip says, "Is this the first time this season that Chelsea didn't score in the first half?"
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think that I agree that Chelsea will be too happy, but that is also credit to the job that FC Twente have done so far in that first 45, and I think that they have done it's the perfect game plan when you are the underdog to sit in a low block, and they've sat very narrow. And again, I mentioned that Chelsea are doing well to get the ball into wide. They look dangerous in wide areas, but that final ball isn't coming off, and that is partly down to the fact that what Twente are doing is they're going to sit narrow. They're going to allow Carpenter and Baltimore and Thompson and Wrighton to get on the ball. And then by doing that, you're then asking them to play the perfect pass. But even if they do, because Twente are sitting so narrow, they've got so many red shirts in their penalty area that usually it's one of the Twente players that can get onto that football first. And especially when it isn't inch perfect from Chelsea, most of the crosses have either fallen to nobody or they've fallen to other Twente defenders, because Twente are packing that penalty area. They're doing very, very well to sit really narrow. I think the wingers, their defensive contribution, both on the left and right, has been absolutely brilliant. They've done very, very well to get back in and support their fullback. And as I already mentioned the midfield a moment ago, they've done really well to be combative in there and to make life difficult for Chelsea. But across the board, Twente have got it right so far. The biggest question always is when we're with these underdog clubs, when they sit in a low block, is it how long can they last? Because I think that if Chelsea keep up that kind of pressure for another 45 minutes, I would be surprised if Twente still kept the clean sheet. And that's where I find it difficult. Is they've played very, very well. Massive credit to them because they're defending superbly. But Chelsea, once they make changes, as the game goes on, it's going to get more and more aggressive from the Blues, and it's going to get even tougher for Twente to hold on. It's one of those where, again, I think it's a bit of a when rather than if Chelsea score, because as good as they've been, this pressure isn't sustainable. You can't be under the cosh like this for 90 minutes and expect to not concede. That just doesn't happen.
Young Geese, welcome to the stream. Says last year FC Twente were 2-0 down. I think it's a credit to Twente though. They actually never have been this defensive tactically. Credit to Karina Decker for making it work so far. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Obviously, you've got to have that flexibility to be able to play like this against teams like Chelsea. You'd expect, obviously, when they play Leuven next week, we'll see free-flowing attacking football. And we have seen at times today when Twente have got forwards, some nice combinations in the final third. It just has been few and far between in terms of that possession. They've only had 40% of the ball in this game. So, yeah, but when they have got forwards, they have created some opportunities which haven't really yet been able to test Livia Peng. They haven't put a shot on target yet. But there was that chance for Vliet, who was through on goal and decided to try and square it, which I'm not sure why. But she could have, put at least got a shot on target, made it difficult for Livia Peng. But yeah, Twente have done really well defensively. They've packed the box effectively. They've sat narrow and defensive, and they've been compact and hard to break down. I think as this game goes on, it's going to be difficult to maintain that tactical discipline. And I think gaps will start to appear in this Twente system, especially as players start to tire and as Chelsea make some changes. But yeah, I think it's been interesting to see Twente in this game so far.
Yes, exactly. I think Yankees made a great point because I think it's something that people kind of overlook, but it is very difficult when you are to balance it when you are a side like Twente who are probably the best in their division and have been brilliant to start the season. They're used to going out and putting a few goals past teams and being the aggressive side that are on the front foot. It is then a massive shift to then have to suddenly become the huge underdog once you get into Europe, and finding that league Europe balance is massive because on the Saturday, Twente are the massive favourites to win every game they play, but once they get to the midweek game, they're huge underdogs. And to balance balance both brands of football is a very difficult thing to do, especially because it's very unlikely that one manager will be very good at playing both of those. So I think, rightfully credit to Twente and the way they've set up in this game, because it is difficult to go from being an aggressive and positive side to being a little bit more reserved, sitting deeper and having to hang on a little bit under pressure. But they've worked well so far, and I think at the end of the day, yes, they probably will concede in this game, but if they do hold on for a point today, that would be a huge point. To go out as a pot 3 side and get a point against one of the pot 1 teams, that would put them in a great position to try and get into that knockout playoff round position in the league phase table.
I think they've done really well as well, Twente, in terms of recruitment, because I was looking at the team that faced Chelsea last year in the reverse fixture. I think 4 or 5 of them have been sold into bigger leagues. Pedamor's probably the most prominent example. She moved on to Wolfsburg. And yeah, there's a handful of others. But they've done really well to replace them. Obviously, Jill Ward coming in is a huge addition. And that is going to have a massive impact. But yeah, they've done really well to compete today with Chelsea. The question now will be, how do they respond to Chelsea in the second half? You look at the bench of the Blues this evening with the likes of Kira Walsh, Sam Kerr, Joanna Ritting-Carnery, Vika Kaptein, Erin Cuthbert. They've got the players to make changes. I think Chelsea would have liked to be in the position to bring on players like Sawi and Lexi Potter, but that doesn't look to be going. The game doesn't look to be going that way just yet. We'll see if they can get 2 or 3 in the first 15 minutes here, then it could become a very different game.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea have the ability to turn this game from what's been a very tight affair into a bit of a drubbing quickly, and that's the difference between the two sides. I think Chelsea could, if everything clicks in the second half, really take control of this match.
Yeah, we see it time and time again, as you say, where we get a first half where it's either 0-0 or it's only just 1-0, and we give massive credit to the underdog, and then in the second half it just runs away from them, and it will be key there'll be a couple of key moments now, how Twente do start this second half, but also if they do concede, then how they react to that. Because as I say, if they do just capitulate, then Chelsea will take complete advantage of that, and it will get messy. But even if they do go a goal down, they can hang on in there and again remain resilient, and they'll keep themselves in the game. But yeah, they've got to get out quickly here at the first half and react well, and that they are the first team out here, and they'll be hoping to pick up where they left off in the first half. And it's a difficult thing to do, because after 10-15 minutes and you've settled into your low block, it's very easy to just stick in that rhythm, and it becomes repetitive. You're doing the same things. You drop off, you press up, you win the ball, you turn it over and you clear it. But when you reset, all resets when you go into the second half. So it's important, first 5 minutes, they settle back into their low block and find that rhythm and that repetitive nature once again. And hope that Chelsea haven't changed anything that is going to come at you and tear you apart.
HB says, don't think much has changed. The goal is coming. I think that's probably a fair assessment. You don't expect Chelsea to miss as many big chances as they did in that first half. Right, says, infuriate the channel that when Chelsea don't play well, you always credit the other team for just being that good. It's never that Chelsea are bad. Why not? Chelsea play bad, I would say so. When Chelsea lost last year to Barcelona, I was very frank in my analysis that Chelsea were very poor in those games. I think Bon Pastor made the wrong decisions, got the setup wrong on the night, and that's why they lost heavily. But I don't look at that first 45 minutes of football and think Chelsea played bad at all. I think it's 45 minutes where they've had all of the ball, all of the chances, and it just hasn't quite gone in the back of the net yet. But I don't think that's that Chelsea are bad. I don't think Bon Pastor's done a bad job. Obviously, it's 5-0. We'll all be sat here celebrating. But, I don't think it's been a bad performance at all from Chelsea. And on a different day, they'd have taken some of those chances. And again, everyone will view it in a very different light. So, no, I'm not afraid to criticise Chelsea at all. I care passionately. If they're playing badly, I will complain about it. But I don't think they have played badly. And it is Twente will get us back underway in this game, I believe. Rather 45 minutes. Can FC Twente hold on? They've done well in the first half to limit Chelsea, prevent them from scoring. Or can the Blues find a breakthrough? It's Ravensbergen from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle. Loving a long delay here before we can get back underway. And again, we saw this last night, where the referee was made to wait an age. And now it does blow us, so we're back underway in this game. 20-0, Chelsea 0 at the break. We'll either side find a goal in this second 45, but that's what we're going to have to wait and see. And it's Twente playing out from the back. Chewin, pass down the line into Proust. Carpenter trying to force her back. Nice drive inside. Turned over well by Nuskundo, but there is a push in there from Carpenter. Michael said Chelsea wasn't poor versus Barca. Unfortunately, Barca was just that good. Well, Barca, of course, are a very good side, but Chelsea gave up some massive opportunities in that game, and some big individual errors cost them, and the setup was completely wrong. Made it very easy for Barcelona. Here come Twente. On the right-hand side, here's Van Ginkel. Vliek delivers it into the penalty area, struck by Proust, and now dealt with well by Millie Bright. Headed forwards by Knoll, and now here come Chelsea. Nusken poking it through the lines, but it's well dealt with by the Twente centre-half, Carlier. And now here comes Twente to the right-hand side. It's Iberink. Bierman tries to hold her off. Iberink does well. Turns nicely. Bierman stands her ground, though, and is going to try and force her out. That's good defending from the Chelsea defender.
Good recovery from Birmingham, because initially that was way too soft. Went in for the ball a little bit half-arsed and lost it, but stood her ground well and got the tackle in. But Twente looking to start the second half very positively. That's not a great ball in, though. Berman deals.
And now Twente being forced back here by the Chelsea press. And it's all the way back to Leme. And now Chelsea turn over half the pitch, and it's Guro Wrighton pokes it in behind. I think Beaver Jones went a little early there. Flag will be delayed. Takes aim. It's saved anyway, and then the flag does go up.
Yeah, quite comfortably. Just went too early there, Beaver Jones, by about a yard or two. Couldn't convert anyway, but you feel like that's one of those where even the striker will know that she was offside comfortably. So,
yeah.
And they're the ones where you don't really need to delay the flag. That is, just stick it up.
Carpenter does well there to jump in front of that forward pass. Not how to play now for a Chelsea throw. And it's Carpenter again. 2 in. Thompson putting her under pressure, and it goes all the way back now to Leme. Out to the left-hand side, Chewin. Great win in there from Carpenter. Chewin passes it back. Here comes Twente. Cutting inside now, Proust. That's good from Carter, though. Tries to knock it back to a goalkeeper. Bright almost caught out there by Ravensbergen. But Chelsea hold on to possession. Carter under pressure from Proust. Holds on to the ball well. Now Bright, who will knock it out of play. Not sure there was too much need for that.
No, it's just really messy. Just overplaying it for no reason there. Both Carpenter and Bright in a bit of trouble. And rather than deal with it initially, they just try and overcomplicate it. And then in the end, they end up clearing it when that was... Should have just played it out instead. Just try to hold on to it between each other. But positive start to this half from Twente.
Twente. Broad. Forced backwards now by Chelsea. And that's cleared forward. Bright, heading it down. Jean-Francois. Goes back to Carpenter and Bruce now slipping over. Beaver Jones flicks it on well. Here is Jean-Francois. Now Wrighton. Back to Orion Jean-Francois. Here is Sandy Baltimore. Delivers the ball into the box. Nusken, did she go early there? Cuts it back. Thompson in the penalty area, and there's the goal for Chelsea, but the flag is up. And it did look like Sioka Nusken just went a little early there. And there will, of course, be a check.
Yeah, it's good football from Chelsea, but Nusken has very much gone early here. It's a great ball. Yeah, she's just gone early. Great ball from Baltimore into Nusken. And they'll have a look at it. But no.
The ball in the back of the net, it won't stand. Nusken went too early. But now Chelsea putting more pressure on Twente. That's a poor pass from Nusken, though. She's really struggled tonight. Here come Twente. Pass forward from Carlier into Rords, given go with two in. Nice pass into Proust. Carpenter does excellently there. Use their strength to shove off Proust. And it's a misplaced pass from Jean-Francois. Cleared away by Tuin all the way to Livia Penn.
Yeah, it's exactly what we spoke about at half-time. The midfield pivot just been a bit sloppy and are losing that battle in there to Twente.
It is Guro Wrighton, now Nusken. Pass back to Berman. Shifts it to Bright. Hamano. Carpenter. Bright. Here is Berman. Kept in play by Wrighton. Now Baltimore. Definitely on the touchline though. Berman back to Bright. Second half, Twente haven't really had a kick yet. Carpenter. Forward pass cut out. Here comes Thompson driving inside. Options to her left and right. Into Beaver Jones in the box. But she can't quite do anything with it. Poor decision making from so many players there. Thompson's got to go right.
But it was so slow. Beaver Jones, when she actually took her first touch, had so much space around her. But players managed to get onto her because the ball from Thompson was it's too casual. You can't afford to just knock it slowly into my striker with a back to goal. You've got to fizz it in there and let her have something to work with. Just too slow, again, too casual.
Forwards cut out there by Nusken. Between her and Wrighton, they take each other out.
Yeah, rightfully a Chelsea free kick.
And yeah, just seemed to be a lack of communication there as two Chelsea players come together. And there's a Twente player down as well.
Oh yeah, certainly a foul. Not sure who the Twente player was that just came through there. Oh, yeah, nowhere near the ball. Just smashed in. Nusken gets her first, flicks it on, and then gets wiped out.
Yeah, Groenewegen. Just jumping in there.
Injured herself in the process.
And Chelsea with two changes. It's Kaptein and Cuthbert. And that'll be for Nusken and Hamano. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think Nusken's really struggled this evening. And again, she has come back from injury, but she has really struggled. And yeah. So Kaptein on for Hamano. Sam has been excellent the last few weeks for Chelsea.
Yeah, we've said that midfield battle Chelsea are losing, and this is certainly going to bring legs and going to bring energy in there. Captain further forward, Cuthbert will come in and just do what Aaron Cuthbert does best.
And another goal in the game between Real Madrid and Roma. It's Real Madrid 4, Roma 2. A high-scoring game there. Mela Lacra with the goal set up by Alba Redondo.
Oh, Real Madrid may be about to record a very important victory. They've had a tough season, but they do turn up in the Champions League.
And Groningen will have to go off after receiving treatment. And Nusken is coming off anyway. Cuthbert's just jogging up and down the touchline while she waits.
I mean, Aaron Cuthbert's already put more energy into that warm-up than I think the Chelsea pivot has seen today.
Yeah. Groningen looks quite shaken up there. She's the one who went barreling in.
She's thrown herself in there and ended up
going into discomfort, and she will be coming off. And replaced by Aaron Cuthbert. I think they were going to make the change anyway, Chelsea.
Yeah.
But that clash confirming it.
Well, going to see then a bit of legs and a bit of energy now brought by Aaron Cuthbert. And this double change could just change the game for Chelsea, because you'd expect the tempo to just up with Captain and Cuthbert on their run the show.
Yeah.
But let's see. New test for Twente. They've done well first 10 minutes. Not exactly what I said they need to do. They've settled back into their rhythm and got back to playing their stuff.
It's going to bring a bit more urgency, a bit more energy into midfield. And hopefully a bit more creativity.
Yeah.
And a ball into the penalty area now. It'll get headed on. Here's Cuthbert at the back post. Cuts it back inside. Almost found Viga Captain, but it's cleared away well by Noll. Carpenter smashes it at the recovery. Millie Bright. And Jean-Francois loops it forwards. Header isn't convincing from 2 in. Will drop now for Captain, who touched it towards this corner. Thompson will put pressure on it. Not had a play by 2 in.
New test for Twente.
Carpenter tries to find Beaver Jones. Holds it up well. Does really well there. Beaver Jones back inside to Aaron Cuthbert. And that is blocked and cleared away out by Twente.
What a tackle that was. Brilliant turn from Cuthbert. And she went to unleash a shot. It was a brilliant recovering tackle.
Baltimore into Wrighton. Back to Sandy Baltimore, who will shift inside well. Lovely footwork from Baltimore. Forced back now to Carpenter. He makes the pass now to the right-hand side, and it's Thompson, who wants to be direct, tries to go outside. Can't quite manage it. Now back to Carpenter, who supports her to Thompson. Back to Carpenter. This is nice play. Blocked by Groningen, and that is a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, Chelsea just up the ante. And this is where Twente are now going under a lot of pressure. How will they deal with the shift in mentality and the shift in pace from Chelsea? Because that ball is just being bounced around a bit quicker by the Blues. And another opportunity to put some pressure onto this Twente penalty area.
And it's Wrighton on this. In towards the front post. Bounces through the bodies. Here's Cuthbert. Back now to Guro Wrighton. Lifts it in there. Headed away. And it's cleared all the way to Alyssa Thompson. Bright. Thompson. Carries it forwards. Cut out well there by Van Ginkel. Now Rord. Ball out to the left-hand side, looking for Proust, who keeps it in touch well. Wants to take on Millie Bright now. Shimmies onto her right foot, cuts it inside. Carpenter gets it clear. Now Rord takes aim. It's blocked by Carpenter. And Jean-Francois. Cuts out well again. 2 in into a dangerous area. Not picked up. That's a crucial challenge from Baltimore. How that ball's out of bounce in the box. And the Twente player just handled the ball there afterwards. Bit strange.
I don't know whether she was going for a handshake off Peng, potentially. But yeah.
Ball in, and yeah, almost makes contact. Baltimore does really well. And now Beaver Jones looking to spin off the shoulder of Knoll. Shimmies inside. No options on. It is Baltimore. Beaver Jones. Jean-Francois. Now Bright. And zips out to the right-hand side. Thompson gets her under control. Looks to deliver it into the penalty area. It's not dealt with well enough by the goalkeeper, Lemme, who drops it, but she does do well then to pick up the second ball.
Yeah, but importantly, though, even though she doesn't catch it, she comes out and gets there. Comes out, gets in front of it, and just takes it off the head of Beaver Jones. It's not a bad ball in from Thompson. But yeah, if she doesn't come and get it, Beaver Jones would have had a header on goal. But Twente, to be honest, they're faring pretty well.
Proust. Poked wide now. Into Vliek. Finds Rord in the pocket out to the right-hand side. Cut back now looking for Groenewegen. Who backheels it to Rord. Lets it go to Van Ginkel. Blocked by Cuthbert. Who firms it well. Rord. Out now to Eiderbrink. Pass through the lines there from Vliek. Ravensbergen does keep it in play. Thought she may have gone too early there. Twente allowed, though, to continue this move. Knoll takes aim from range, and that is quite far wide of the mark.
Yeah, shot lacked a lot there, but still positive, still good football from Twente. They're coming at Chelsea and they're causing them problems. And Chelsea are going to react with more changes. Carnereed for Thompson. Straight swap on this right-hand side.
And well, as Chelsea look to try and impact again, there's another goal in Madrid. It's Real Madrid 5, Roma 2. Caroline Weir with a goal set up by Linda Caicedo. Ball down the line, looking for the run now, Vika Kaptein. And knocked out of play well by Knoll. Ball thrown in to Baltimore. Now it's Jean-Francois. Kaptein. Baltimore. Flicked on by Wrighton. Baltimore trying to get there. And now knocked out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Big 30 minutes for both these sides. How important a point could be for Twente. How disappointing a point would be for Chelsea.
Baltimore into Beaver Jones. And here is Sandy Baltimore again. Beaver Jones tries to spin her. But now here come Twente. And again, another Chelsea attack breaks down. Knoll.
It's too cute. It's just got to be... It's got to be quicker from Chelsea, but more decisive.
Yeah.
Just trying to twinkle toe between defenders. It's not going to work.
It shouldn't need that either. No. There is space on this pitch, but you've got to drag it out. You've got to move the ball quicker. These little flicks just aren't working.
Yeah.
Just pass the football. There's no need to do something pretty. Just make it effective.
Yeah.
Here comes Twente. 2 in. Plays it in behind. Chance now for FC Twente. Gilles Rord bearing in on goal. Looks to square it. Chance now for Van Ginkel. As he fires home for FC Twente. Chelsea cuts open on the counter. And Van Ginkel finds one hell of a goal from the edge of the box. Broke away quickly. Rord cuts it back and Van Ginkel arrows it home. Past Livia Peng, and Chelsea punished for their lack of clinicality. That's Twente score on the counter break.
Brilliant from Twente. They've hung in there, they've been patient, they've defended well, and they get the opportunity to come forwards, and Carpenter just steps up. Jean-Francois doesn't go with Gilles Rord, allows her to cut it back, and no one gets near Van Ginkel here, who picks it out brilliantly. Nothing Penn can do in the Chelsea net, but that is too easy from the Blues at the back, and the home side have taken full advantage. And we said in the build-up, the longer Twente can keep this game at 0-0, the more the game's going to go in their favour. And that is a massive goal from the captain. Van Ginkel with a great strike, and now Chelsea need a reaction.
Indeed. They haven't been clinical enough in this game. It's been too slow in the final third, and Twente have punished that. They've moved from back to front incisively, and that is a great move. And now Twente coming forwards again. Cut back there to Wrighton. And there is a free kick in there.
Captain's unlucky there. I think the Twente players just kind of ran into it almost. But yeah, lots of thinking to do now for Bombastor and Chelsea.
Indeed. So, Twente looking to threaten from this set piece. Okay, I mean, if they could add a second in this game, they'd kill Chelsea off, really. Struck towards goal. Comfortable claim for Olivia Peng, and now Chelsea need to go quickly. Again, though, there's no urgency from Chelsea, even at 1-0 down. Berman. Now Baltimore. Does well there to skip past Iberink. Wrighton. Now Captain. Switches the play to Carpenter. Now Carnareid. Can she make something happen? Cuthbert. Jean-Francois. Through the lines into Carpenter. Looks for the cutback. Captain takes aim. And it's into the side netting. Nice move from Chelsea. Finally moved the ball a little bit quicker in there. Fine Captain in the pocket. She's unlucky there not to put that on target. Nice move with more time and another touch. And the ability to take another touch in there probably would have been a goal. Just couldn't quite find the target from that angle.
And it's the first time this evening that Ellie Carpenter's actually bothered to look up in the penalty area and try and pick someone out rather than just whip it in and hope for the best.
Yeah.
She's looked up, picked out Captain, and Chelsea got an opportunity from it.
Berman then knocking it back to goalkeeper Peng. And Chelsea now settle in possession again. Brighton. Bright. Not an entire football club. Carpenter. Great drive inside. Now to Captain. Back down the line to Carnareid. Ball into the penalty area now. Looking for the back post run. Can't quite find her. Now it's Cuthbert who'll take aim. It's blocked. Drops to Captain. Tidy footwork to drag it past the defender. Just dinks it in behind to Carnareid across the box. Chance for Wrighton, who can't quite make contact with it. Cleared away only as far as Captain, who looks sharp this evening. Cuthbert takes aim. And it's just wide of the mark. And Chelsea now seem to have a bit more of attacking licence. Captain looking sharp. Carnareid's looked better than Thompson since she's come on. And Cuthbert there firing just wide. The substitute starting to have an impact.
Yeah, better from Chelsea, moving the ball a lot quicker. Vika Captain has got involved in the football match, and that has made a stark difference in the final third for the Blues.
Headed down there by Berman. Cleared away. Emily Bright wins the header. Now it's Captain. Baltimore. Driving the ball forward, shifts it to Wrighton, cuts it back for Carnareid. It bats around. Beaver Jones now has a shot over the bar. And everyone just, there's a desperation to score now for Chelsea, and everyone just tried to pounce that ball all at the same time.
Yeah, again, decision making. This hat from Gura Wrighton, this has to go first time into Captain. She has so much space on the edge of the area.
Cuts it back well. And then Carnareid.
There's got to be communication there.
Got to leave it for Cuthbert, really.
100%. But because that ball has come late from Wrighton into Carnareid, Carnareid's touches then had to force her into bodies, and it's all bobbled round a bit. But better from Chelsea, moving it quicker, but got to take advantage because not long left to go out and find 2 goals. I mean, 1 goal would be something. But really, Chelsea need 2 goals.
Berman into Wrighton. Now Baltimore. Beats Iberink well. Down the line. And there's a foul in there on Sandy Baltimore. And again, it's Grona Vegan, who's had a few tonight. Bit of a mystery how she's not on a yellow card yet. Van der Vecht coming on now as Twente look to freshen up their side. And now it'll be Ibrink who makes way for Van der Vecht. So is that a bit more of a defensive change then? Right winger coming off for what I believe is a right back.
I would assume so.
Yeah, he's a defender. So I think that's a 5 back then for Twente, and they've been difficult to break down already. Chelsea, they had a little bit of luck pulling them apart, and now Twente are going to shut up shop.
It's a complete correct reaction. You know, it's a smart thing to do. You're in a great position against a great football team. You need to hold on. And if Twente could get across the line, what a win this would be.
Yeah, indeed. Big upset. Ball in from Baltimore. Bounces around. Cuthbert knocks it down to Beaver Jones. And there is a foul in there. And VAR will have a look. Carpenter switching the play. Here's Baltimore. Back now to Jean-Francois. Baltimore again. Holds on to the ball. Wrighton tries to go back to Baltimore. Another foul in the penalty box, and this one is given. Chelsea with a penalty. And Twente there getting desperate, struggling to keep up with Chelsea's attack, and Wrighton dragged down in there.
Really sharp from Guro Wrighton. Just a little shimmy to the left, knocks the ball past her opposing defender and wins the penalty.
There was already a clip there on Cuthbert in the box.
That is so
looks like a penalty.
So yeah, even if the Wrighton one wasn't a penalty,
Wrighton trampled on, and again it's Groenewegen.
Yeah,
who's again not been booked.
Well,
Baltimore's holding it. You would imagine this would be Wrighton, no? Or is it going to be Sandy Baltimore? It is going to be Sandy Baltimore from the spot for Chelsea. Penalty taker has perhaps changed then. Baltimore, deep breath, steps up, and it's coolly dispatched. It's 21, Chelsea 1. This game's back level then, with Baltimore converting from the penalty spot. Twente were just suffering under strong pressure from the Blues. And Baltimore does really well there to compose herself and slot home the penalty. And brings Chelsea level with 20 to play.
Yeah, no nonsense from Baltimore. Cool, calm, collected, straight down the middle. No celebrations needed. Gets the football, gets going again. 20 minutes for Chelsea to find a winner now. And they're coming at Twente early doors.
And it's Beaver Jones now, loving the celebration in the live chat. To Chelsea finding an equaliser. Can they push on now for a winner? Berman. Carpenter wants it to be switched directly. Goes down the line to Baltimore instead. Chelsea now coming forwards down the line looking for Captain. That is always going to run through though to the goalkeeper Leme.
Find it interesting though that penalty duties shifted from Brighton to Baltimore.
Yeah. Double change coming for Chelsea. That looked like Sam Kerr and I believe it was Sawi as well.
Yes.
Which is good to see. Trust in some of the younger players.
Especially in the position Chelsea are in.
Well, indeed.
It's not a bad player to be bringing on, though, is it, Sam Kerr, when you need a goal in the Champions League?
No. Broad. Ball poked forwards there, looking for the run in behind of Proust, who did look to have gone too early, or at least that is what Bright is claiming. Takes same over the bar, and the flag does go up, and that is where the frustration is from Ellie Carpenter.
Well, I don't really know what she's frustrated about. She knows the UEFA rules. They're going to delay the flag. You've got to defend it.
Yeah, it's not a blatant... I mean, she is definitely offside, but she's not like miles off where there's obviously no doubt.
She's got a bit fortunate there because she defended that a bit half-arsed, and if she was onside and it had gone in, and that would be clumsy.
I think she was just so confident because you could see she was quite clearly offside that it didn't matter. But yeah, another goal in the Real Madrid game. Real Madrid 6, Roma 2. Liga F sides finding goals. And it is Ava Navarro playing at right back today who scored. Baltimore making way then for Sawi. Wrighton making way for Kerr. So that'll be Beaver Jones to the left-hand side. Here's Cuthbert. Can't quite find that touch inside. Proust now looking to turn. And that's good defending from Jean-Francois, who got across well.
Yeah, Real Madrid, an absolute goal fest.
Yeah, 8 goals in that game. I mean, there will be concerns by the 2 they conceded and an error leading the goal from Merle Frums.
Another one. Yeah, they've got to be careful, Real Madrid at the back, because they've been a bit sloppy in defence. But they've scored 6 tonight, so maybe that's their new plan, just to outscore everybody.
And then it comes out with a hat-trick of assists, 5 chances created as well. Brilliant performance.
Has Athenia got on?
Chloe Sarwi. Athenia, no, has not played any part. And, yeah, he's still on the phone.
What a ball from Carpenter.
Cleared away well. Quarter of an hour to go in this game. Just over a quarter of an hour, to be fair. Still more than enough time to find a goal.
Yeah.
Can't read. And that cross is blocked.
And 2 in has blocked it and then hit the deck. I'm not sure how real. I mean, yeah, she might be injured. She blocked it.
Just can't hit that knee. I mean, she's holding the other knee.
She's absolutely fine. Wonderful.
Carpenter now. Throws into the penalty area. Kerr flicks it on. It's cleared away. Drops now for Berman. Sarwi. Wide into Beaver Jones. Sarwi. Berman. Here is Bright, looking to switch the play with an aggressive ball forwards. And Twente, though, will look to return it. Vliek, her clearance blocked by Beaver Jones, out for a Twente throw.
Yeah, Twente just holding firm. They have played very well in this game, but Chelsea are still probing for that winner.
Cuthbert out to the right-hand side. Carpenter looking to keep the ball in play. Can she now pick out a delivery? Cuthbert. Ball into the penalty area. Chance now. Kerr taken out by the goalkeeper in her attempts to punch the ball away. Bright tries to go to the right-hand side. Does find Carpenter. Now it's with Millie Bright. Sarwi, that's just slightly ahead of her from Berman. Can't quite keep it under control, and here comes Twente. Proust. Back across to Van Ginkel. Now out to the left, to the right-hand side. Ravensbergen trying to take it to the corner. Sarwi knocks out of play. That looked to come off the Twente player, but it has been given as a Twente throw.
Well defended, but Twente will be more than happy for the ball to be in the Chelsea third.
And in the Women's League Cup, we've got a goal. It's West Ham 0, Brighton 1. Which I could have seen coming.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That could get quite messy.
And now Twente trying to come forwards. Van Ginkel. Groenewegen. Twente still threatening Roord. Groenewegen. Give and go with Van Ginkel. Back to Groenewegen. And Twente coming forwards again. Still. Ball lifted in behind. Carpenter heads it away. Only as far as Roord. Captain does well though. Carpenter gets it clear. Can't find anyone with a forward pass. Van Ginkel. Kerr gets back in there. Now Bright, who will try and carry through the lines and commits a foul. No need to do that there, Millie Bright.
Why on earth would Millie Bright try and dribble that out when your side need a goal? Play football. Get the ball down. Why are you trying to take 3 Twente players on when you're under pressure? And then commit a foul. Really silly from Chelsea's captain. Needless. And it's just going to take a couple minutes out of the game. Really unnecessary. Got to be smart in moments like this. You're chasing you need a winner. You're under pressure, and that was the wrong decision.
And Proust now making way for Twente. And it will be Ivans onto the left wing. Free kick now. And cleared away. And now here come Chelsea. Sam Kerr pokes it down the line into Sawi. He can't quite keep it under control, driving forwards, forced backwards. Switch to play now from Berman. Into Carpenter, who chests it down well. And will carry the ball forwards now. Great drive from the Aussie. Carnereed now. Shifts inside. Brilliant from Carnereed. Cuts it back to Cuthbert, who plays it across again. It's going to drop for Sawi for a chance and puts it over the bar. Got to get over that ball and hit the back of the net. But nice from Cuthbert. Beaver Jones couldn't quite get there. She slipped. Sawi came onto it and just gets under it, puts it over the bar.
What a moment that would have been for the Chelsea youngster. Just lacked a little bit of conviction in the strike. Understandably so. Probably was never expecting to get that ball, but just needs to get over it and hit it well. And Twente have played out from the goal kick, and they've got away with one there because the balls they've played it short. Chelsea put them under pressure. They then kicked it long and lost it, and the referees pulled it back because Chelsea apparently started in the penalty area.
And they're going to take their time, and then they will go long, Twente.
I mean, it's a little bit clumsy from Sam Kerr there to be stood in the D. I mean, I know she hasn't played football for a while, but that is, that's one of the first rules you learn.
Yeah. Ball up in the air, headed down. Bright tries to be assertive. That's out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Big 10 minutes.
Ball thrown in to a central area, bounce around. Jean-Francois wins the header. Chelsea claim for a foul. Twente hold the ball. Ball in behind. And that's really good defending from Carpenter. Back now to Peng. Chelsea there needs to be some urgency now. So they look to get the ball forward. Berman. Might have Chelsea involved in action next week as they take on Paris FC on Wednesday. We will be live for that game, so make sure to join us there. Twente now coming forwards. Raud. Ball launched forwards. And now Chelsea in possession. Berman. Now Bright. Forward pass into Carpenter. Sam Kerr. Flick on doesn't quite come off. Got to take that into feet, really. Carnery does well to win that ball back. Chelsea throw. Goes down the line into Kerr. Tries to spin Carlier. Captain into Carnereed. Chops back. Now Captain. Lays it to Carnereed. He now looks to take on Groenewagen. Ball into the box. Cleared away. Sawi tries to keep it alive and can't. Here is Berman, though. Lays out to the left-hand side, and Sawi can't quite get there. And now here comes Twente. Forward pass into Ravensbergen. Held on to, though, by Twente. Under pressure from Chelsea. Out to the left-hand side. And it's Ivans who wants to take on Carpenter. Carpenter wins it back, though. Now it's back to Bright. And Chelsea now moving to the left-hand side. Captain. Jean-Francois. Here's Bright. Out now to the right-hand side. Carnereed. Wants to take on the fullback. Tuin. And still Carnereed. Now looks to go outside. Crosses the ball in. Not a great delivery, though. Cuthbert wins it back up the pitch. Jean-Francois. Chelsea just so high here, but it's one back there by Raud, who looks to carry it forwards. Jean-Francois can't win it back. Still Gilles Raud. That one is one back by Jean-Francois. Captain through the lines to Beaver Jones. Tries to touch it onto Kerr. Back to Beaver Jones. Under pressure there, and she's bundled down. That's a Chelsea free kick.
Beaver Jones has done so well there because, as she's pointing out now, no one is showing for her. Everyone is just stood still behind her, watching as she tries to her best to hold on to the football.
Beaver Jones goes quickly into Sawi. Referee not happy.
Yeah. right idea. But it's a ceremonial free kick. You got to wait for the whistle. Got to get this in the box. Beaver Jones has just got to flick this in the penalty area. Once she's eventually allowed to take it.
Beaver Jones puts it into the box. Berman heads on. Is there a hand in there? Connery puts it across. It's cleared away. Now Cuthbert. Back to Kerr. Ball in. Heads away. I mean, VAR surely got to check that. It bounced around the box. Looked like it may have struck the arm there of a Twente player.
Yeah. Need to see that one back.
But play will continue.
No happy.
Right. Carpenter. Into Carnereed. Played away well by Twente.
Twente remaining resolute. They are fighting hard for this point.
Carpenter. Switch the play from Jean-Francois. Sawi. Beaver Jones. Cuthbert into the box. Kurt tries to flick it on. It bounces around. Can't quite make the right contact with it. Carpenter tries to pounce. It's out for a Chelsea throw-in.
Twente got a player down the box. And again, this will take more time out of the game. I think we got quite a bit added on here.
Yeah.
Had a couple of injuries. We obviously had the penalty for Chelsea. Couple of goals. Oh, yeah, took it straight in the neck. The Twente centre half.
Connery trying to carry it forwards. Out for a Twente goal kick. And they will slow it down.
Yeah. Going to take the opportunity to just kill all the time out of this football match.
And so it's now with Leme, the Twente keeper, who sends it forwards. Cleared away. Bright. Down into midfield area. Drops now for Cuthbert. Tries to get under her control. Battling away for the ball. Grunewagen does well. It's apparently been given as a Twente free kick. Cuthbert a little surprised. And Twente now out to the right-hand side. Ball poked down the line. And there's a foul in there.
Clumsy from Berman. Just doesn't need to do that at this point in the game. Especially with Berman is a pretty quick player. She's not gonna shouldn't be beaten, so shouldn't then therefore need to commit the foul.
And now a change for Twente being readied, and that'll be Andra Dotti the next time the ball goes out, and that will be now.
Yeah, another opportunity to take more time out of the game for Twente.
Yeah, just a change up front, like for like, really, with Ravensbergen coming off.
Played well, gave Twente a bit of a figure to use and play off, and that has been quite crucial. Just to give them times in this game where they did manage to relieve a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Chelsea, though, going to hope for quite a few minutes here. We didn't get any in the first half, so it'll all be based on second half stoppages.
Berman, Sawi cuts in. Here is Sam Kerr. Lays it into Millie Bright now. Out to the right-hand side. Carpenter. Cut out and lashed out of play, really, by Twente. Carpenter now. Throws it into Kerr, who holds it up well. Here's Carnereed. Carpenter. Shimmies it inside to Jean-Francois. Now out wide into Carnereid, who looks to come inside. Just no room. Jean-Francois need to turn when she received the ball rather than to go out wide again. Launched into the box here by Carpenter. Saka tries to flick it on. Can't quite manage it. Back now to Carpenter. And now Arnaud here. One back though by Chelsea. Carnereid into Cuthbert. Switch the play to Sawi, who receives it well. Pokes it wide now to Beaver Jones. It's poor again. Odd decision to bring Chloe Sawi into this game. No doubt that she's got a lot of ability, but yeah, it just hasn't looked sharp yet.
No.
Not at the level, really. And that is a poor pass from Berman. And now here comes Twente. Arnaud. Broad. Arnaud. And Berman wins it back. And carries the ball forward well. Beaver Jones. Let's take on the fullback. Last minute of normal time. And it's Millie Bright now to the right-hand side. Carnereid. Bright. Just to play it forwards. Cuts out there. And now here comes Twente. Arnaud.
Got him more urgent from Chelsea.
Sawi carrying it forwards down the line. Looking for Beaver Jones in behind. Good goalkeeping. Quick off her line there, Lemme.
Yeah, does very well. Reads the ball. Sweeps in and picks it up. And again, we'll take the opportunity to run the clock down.
Sawi, 5 minutes of additional time in this game. Down the line, looking now for Captain. And that's out of play for a Chelsea throw-in. Still time in this game for another goal. Captain, Sawi. That's out for a Chelsea corner. That will allow them to put Twente under more pressure.
Everyone's got to get up. Just pile people in the box. Got to be a good delivery, this. Has to be a good ball.
Ball into the box. Raw to the front post. Heads it clear. Bright heads it down. Carpenter. Has to go back to Peng. Now Sawi. Captain. Takes aim. Venomous effort, but it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Not a bad idea. The space opened up for it. And we know she can hit it pretty well. But yeah, just a bit too central. Needed to put that over side the keeper. There was a bit of a miss kick there and it's fallen straight back to Chelsea.
Arnaud here. Back now. 2-2 in. Under pressure. Still Twente have the ball though. Launched forward by Carlier. Foul there from Rord. Not awarded by the referee. Sawi. Now Berman. Out now to Beaver Jones. And now play will be stopped for Jean-Francois. It was just thumped into by Rord as she missed the ball.
I think Chelsea there had the ball. Would have been happy just to keep playing.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant from captain.
Options left and right. Goes to Beaver Jones. Tries to cut it back. Cleared away. Back in from Sawi. Headed away though. And there. Looked like I found the edge of the box. Chelsea hit the ball though. Jean-Francois. Bright. Lifts out to the left-hand side. Chloe Sawi. Captain. Tries to poke it into the box. Cleared away though by Noll. Berman heads on to Jean-Francois. Back to Berman. Now Bright. Carpenter. Tries to carry it forwards. Out of play now for a Chelsea throw-in. Throws down the line to Carnereid, who chops in well. pokes it towards Cuthbert, who breaks in the penalty area, dragged down. Just not sure there's enough for a penalty.
No, I think she almost slipped.
She did too well there to try and remain honest. Because the players come storming in. If she just keeps running rather than try and wriggle round her, she just gets cleaned out.
Yeah.
But she tries to keep it in play there, Cuthbert, and ends up slipping. Now Twente send it forwards. That could slow the game down. 90 seconds left for Chelsea in this match. Not the start they would have wanted to this Champions League campaign. Twente defended vigilantly, and Chelsea haven't been able to find their breakthrough. Full time Madrid, they finish up 6-2 over Roma. Sarwi tries to poke it through the lines, back to Berman. Here's Peng. Now Bright. Carpenter. Looking for a pass inside. Back now to Bright. Berman. Jean-Francois. Berman. Here's Millie Bright. Ball in towards the box. Looking for Sam Kerr. Tries to flick it on. Keeper drops it. Here is Carpenter. And there is... What, an offside call?
Yeah.
Not sure how, given where the defenders were, but there we go.
Yeah, not sure about that one on Sam Kerr. That was probably Chelsea's last chance.
Yeah, not sure that'll be time for another. Launched long. And that is the full-time whistle. A huge point for FC Twente. A disappointing start to their Champions League campaign for Chelsea. And Twente rejoice. A valiant, vigilant defensive performance. They made life difficult for the Blues, who just couldn't break down their relentless press, their relentless defence. And yeah, well done to FC Twente. Really impressive defensive showing. Chelsea just couldn't break them down today. And full time here in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Twente defended valiantly, and that is a well-earned point. Chelsea not at the races, and the rotated side couldn't get the job done. Just a little bit too sloppy. The final ball lacking in the first half, and then the second half was just, again, a little bit slow out the blocks. Nothing inherently wrong. Just half a yard off it at times. And in the end, that's what's cost them. A brilliant strike, though, from Van Ginkel and Twente. A well-earned point. Credit to them. Chelsea back to the drawing board. And, yeah, work to do. But I think, although it was rotated, the side out there tonight was good enough to get the job done. It would be disappointing they didn't.
Yeah, they had the chance to get the job done. Didn't take them. And you get punished for that when you don't take your opportunities. Twente, with one of their only shots on target of the game, found the back of the net. And that's what happens in football. You don't take your opportunities. So disappointing start to the campaign. Again, though, performance wasn't terrible. And for people saying Juan Pastor sacked, please come back to the real world. But that is where we'll end things today, because we are live in 13 or 12 minutes now for PSG. PSG, Wolfsburg. Should be a very interesting game of football. Looking forward to Harry. Join us there in 12 minutes. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Join us for more. That knows everything for us today. Well, that's everything for this stream, and we will see you very soon.